I hope this is working. Hello, everyone. My name is Raquel, and welcome to Raquel Teaches. Um, and I just noticed that I am displaying my YouTube instead of what I'm supposed to be displaying. My bad. All right. Hopefully, I can edit that out, but I probably won't. Um, okay. Starting over. Hello, everyone. My name is Raquel, and welcome to Raquel Teaches. Um, my channel is all about teaching web development, and so in this short class for today, I'm going to be introducing the foundational language of web development, which is HTML. So I'm going to be going over some of the basics on how to get started writing HTML code that you can use to create websites. And so, just so you have an idea of the curriculum I'm going to follow, I like to use the W3 Schools curriculum, which you can see here um, on the page. So everything that I'm going to be showing you how to do, you can use the W3 Schools website as a reference. As far as a code editor, what I'm going to be using is a free program that looks like this. It's called Visual Studio Code. It is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux operating systems. So pretty much every computer out there can use it. All right, so I'm going to start off with the basics. You can watch me, and then what I recommend is that you practice doing this at home after you watch the video. And please feel free to share any comments on the comment section for this video below, or any questions that you may have, and I'll be happy to guide you along or answer anything that I can help you with. All right, so let's get started. So when it comes to HTML, like I said, it's the basic language for creating websites. And so what it is just code that is used to put content on a website, meaning like text, images, links, etc. And so in this lesson for today, I'm going to show you how to do the most basic thing ever. I'm going to show you how to create a web page using HTML just to display some text. So here we go. We're going to go to Visual Studio Code, and we're going to create a new file. Right? So in Visual Studio Code, what you can do is when you open up, you'll get this splash starter screen here. You can click on this option right here that says New File. So when you click on New File, what you'll notice with Visual Studio Code is that you can just start typing the code right away, or it lets you select the language as you see here, and you can tell Visual Studio Code what language you're going to be coding in. So if I click on Select the Language, and I can scroll down or start typing in this box here, I can see that HTML is an option, right? So if I just happen to scroll down here, we'll see that HTML is here. So for people that are just starting, I recommend just scrolling down to HTML and doing that. If you're someone that's just doing this as a refresher, you can just start typing and then save your document as HTML format. Right? So when writing HTML, it is written using what's called tags, right? All tags start and end with brackets, angle brackets, or some people call them greater than and less than signs. So this is what it looks like. When we want to start an HTML document, start with the opening angle bracket, right? And you're going to type .type HTML, right? That came up automatically for me. If it doesn't, you can just type it. So what that looks like is .type HTML. Now remember that one of the things to always remember with HTML is that every tag has an opening and closing. Well, let me just say like 99% of tags have an opening and closing format, meaning that every time you start to write a tag, an HTML tag, that's the opening one, and then the closing one also starts with angle brackets and then with a slash, and then it usually has the same tag name within the brackets, right? So right here, what I've done is I've created an opening tag, an opening element for HTML, and I've created the closing element for HTML. All websites have this opening closing tag, and then all of the content for a web page goes within those tags, meaning that if I want to insert a paragraph or other information, I now have to press the enter key and I can insert other tags within them, right? So I'm just going to hit the tab key once just so we can give some kind of organization and visual cues as to where everything is nested inside of each other. And I'm going to create a tag or an element that allows me to insert text on a page. Okay, so the element that's used for that is called a P tag, or the P element, and that stands for paragraph. So you're going to do it the same way. You're going to do an opening angle bracket P, And just so that you don't forget to add the closing tag, I always recommend to just put the start any and for any content that you're adding, always start with adding the opening closing tags, and then go back in between the tags and insert the text you want to display. So in this case, I'm putting the opening paragraph tag and the closing paragraph tag, and then in between those tags, I'm going to type the text that I want the page to display. So in this example, I'm just going to type good, okay? And so now, right now, what you see is an opening HTML tag and a closing HTML tag, and then an opening and closing paragraph tag. This, when I save it and display it in a web browser, will display that text on the page. It's really that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to save this document, then I'm going to display it in the browser so you can see what it looks like. So to save it, you can just go up to the File menu and you can hit Save. If you're a person that likes to use the keyboard, you can just hit Control S the same way you do in pretty much any other program. That seems to be the universal standard for saving documents. If you're on a Mac, I believe it's Command S, but it's subspecial key S. And so for Windows, which is what I'm using, it's Control S. So I'm just I can hit that, or I can just go to File. So let's just go to File and let's hit Save. And then this will let me know, this will give me the opportunity now to select where I want to save the file. So for right now, I'm just going to save this on the desktop because I did not remember to create a folder for this class yet. So I'm just going to go to my desktop. I'm going to create a folder called Raquel Teaches. And I'm going to save this HTML document inside of that folder. So I'm going to call this document index.html. Now there's a reason why it's called index.html typically, the base page of a website or the only page of a website, and I will get into that in a later class. But for right now, just take my word for it. You're going to use the word index.html a lot in your web development career. Okay, so notice that I actually don't need to put .html. I'm going to just give it the name index, and you'll notice in the file name, and then you'll notice for save as type, it's set to HTML, right? If that was not set to HTML, I would need to select that. So typically, if you didn't select HTML as the language type when you first started coding in Visual Studio Code, once you get to this step, you would just still have to go down and select it. So make sure that you give the file the name index, and then for the type, make sure it says HTML, and save it. Also make a note of where you saved it, right? You need to know that so that when you go to display this document in the web browser, you know where to look for it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. Okay, and so now this document is saved. And I can see that two things that Visual Studio Code does that's really great as far as helping us to keep our work organized. Number one, the name of the tab changes to the name of the file that I just saved it as. Right? So we see up here that says index.html. The second thing is that at the top of the document, before my code is displayed, it actually has a breadcrumb, right? So what that means is that it's giving me a trail showing me where my document is saved. This is very helpful. I can't tell you how many of my students before have had to rack their brains figuring out where their file was until they realize that, oh, it's right there. I should just use the information that's already made available to me. So make use of the tool that you're using and make sure you actually look at what's being provided to you. And just remember, you don't really have to rack your brain to find stuff on your computer, all right? But that's just useful to know. The name of the document is at the top, and then the breadcrumb letting you know where it's located is right underneath it before your code starts. So now, how do we view this HTML page? Really easily. We can open up a web browser and then use that to open the file, and we can see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to switch to the browser. That worked, amen. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that browser, and I am going to open up the HTML file so we can see what that looks like. Alright, so I'm going to switch to the browser here, and so if you are using Chrome like I am, or pretty much any web browser, you can open a file using your web browser by just using the command Control-O. Right, so I'm going to use my keyboard. Put down the Control key plus the letter O. And when I do that, it gives me this option to select the file that I want to open. Right, so I'm going to go back to my desktop where I created that folder in the previous step, Raquel Teaches, and I'm going to open up the file named Index. I can select it and click open. And what do you know? Oh my goodness, the text is displayed, right? Just like it was done in the code editor, right? And so this is the way that you start to create text for a website, right? Now keep in mind, this is a very plain Jane, no frills web page right now. All we've done is added text. In later lessons in this course for HTML, you're going to see how to do things like adding links, adding images, adding bulleted lists, adding forms, adding tables, adding all kinds of content to make your page useful to someone that's viewing it. But right now, what you have, even though it's plain Jane, no frills, is a web page. So congratulations, if you follow these steps, you've created your first web page. All right. So thank you for tuning into the first HTML class for Raquel Teaches. And stay tuned for the next classes on HTML and other web development topics. Thanks for checking in and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.